Hey everybody, we've got another smart item to look at today. This is made by the same company that made that light bulb that I did a video on that I am now using in the hallway. This is for the basement. I want to control the the entire basement, so when I'm down in my shop down there, or otherwise I can turn the lights on and off without having to remember to go back down there, because I tend to forget. So, like I said, I'm pretty sure this is made by the same company. I'm not 100% on that, but, oh, yeah, there it is, okay. I am 100% on that. I don't know how you say that, but this was recommended on the same listing as the light bulb, so I kind of figured it was the same thing. Let's see, they're rated to probably about 10 amps, 1200 watt resistive, 400 watt incandescent, half horsepower. It's good for 2.4 gigahertz only, so most likely this is also ESP based, just like the light bulb. So let's get the packaging open and we'll take a look. I actually grabbed a light socket and a piece of wire so we can hook it up on the table and you can see it running before I go and install it where I'm going to use it finally. So again, like the other one, the packaging's pretty basic. Tells you the devices it works with, tells you where to get the app, has the specs which we saw, and then the nice icons. So like the other one, the packaging is actually pretty nice. Instead of a snap-on Decora plate, this one actually has screws. So that's nice. One of the older switches I put in also used a Decora plate, but it just had this weird snap-on thing which I didn't like. This one's actually pretty beefy. Usually they're kind of a inexpensive plastic. That's a piece of stamped aluminum. So they're stamping out an aluminum frame and then mounting the plastic to it. You can see the screws there. Then probably this ring snaps on with the button assembly. Actually, it looks like how we're... let's see, that might be how we get inside, but I see a screw here. But we have some more hardware. It comes with a jumper wire to come out of a hot, I guess, if you had a maybe a wire that won't reach inside. Now this is nice. All of the other switches I have tails coming out, 3 wires, or 4 wires. Hot, live, load, and a neutral, and they'd also have a ground, which usually wasn't connected to anything. But this has screws in the side. Get a little better screwdriver for that. So just like a normal light switch, you can just put bare wires into it. That will make the box a lot less crowded with wires. That's great. That's a nice switch. Has a nice click to it. And while not entirely needed, it is a nice thing when you push the switch to know. I mean, the light comes on, so you kind of know. But that tactile feedback is nice. Now again, we have an after-sales service card. I'll need to let them know I'm happy with everything. And then we have the manual. Now, unlike the light bulb, this has the fold-out manual, which I would think would be cheaper to make. And they have the install instructions, what tools you need. Don't have the whole thing here. Wait, let's start that over. And they give you the wire cutters, linesmans, and Phillips and flathead. And then you can snap those tabs off the side depending on your box and if there's switches next to it. They tell you how to wire it. Now, interestingly, in the wiring they show wire nuts and jumpers, but that might just be for illustration. And then, of course, as I drag it across too fast, how to connect to the app. And then the back has some troubleshooting at about the 5-minute mark in the video. and then how to enable the skills depending on your smart home device. And again, you can pause this if you need this at all. And fold that back up. I might need that, but I think I'm okay. What I want to see now is the inside. So to get inside, let's start with this screw. It's a crunchy feeling screw. Oh, it's long. It's going into a brass something, or brass plated something. Looks like it might just be a, oh no, it's something. Alright, so that didn't do much. What's next? We have a screw under here. Oh. It's probably through the front. So let's see if we can pop this ring off without breaking it. Yep. I'm just pushing in and then up. There we go, and that whole assembly comes off. Oh wow, look at that. I thought we were going to find some sort of spring mechanism under this that did all that, but no, there's a, let's see, what brand is that? Hayu? Hayu? Waiu? H-A-I-O-U. That's a really cool switch. I like that. And then of course you can see right there it's a ESP8266S1 2400 megahertz to 2483 at 3.3 volts, and they have the module just soldered down to the board here. So this must be the low voltage board that we're looking at there. So now pop these screws out. Because I don't want to damage this. This needs to go in the basement. What's it say on the side here? Can be removed. That's pretty cool. Smart light switch, relay switch, says down there. And then this comes off, and then the piece that I took the first screw out of, that I said had a brass insert, is right here. It's this thing. Not quite sure why that ferrule was in there. It doesn't really connect to anything that I can see. Oh, it's part of the ground. I wasn't even paying attention. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So the wire goes in there, you tighten the screw down, and then voila, it's grounded. In fact, let's, because that doesn't need to be all the way apart. Alright, a little bit more. That's good. And we'll set that over there with the other screws and the switch. Alright, so now this should come apart. There's a QC pass sticker over here which we will use as a hinge. Now we're inside. And now we have the module out. It's pretty smart engineering. These brass coated tabs drop inside those screw terminals so that the wire is pinched up against it when it's tightened. So it's pretty good. Otherwise it seems pretty basic. It's like every other... Ooh, does it unplug? Ah, and it unplugs. Check that out. They probably use this for, well, I don't know why they would use this for other modules, but who knows. So there's the relay. That's what oops, so that's the relay. That's what actually does the switching. This is the fuse for what goes through the relay. This resistor inside the shrink tubing is the fuse for the low voltage power supply. So power comes in here, that's line in, and then neutral, the other side's there, that's line out. But once the power comes in, you can see it goes to two fuses. The fuse that goes to the normally open side of the relay, and then the fuse that goes to the low voltage power supply. Through that rectifier, then we have some 4.7 at 400 volt capacitors. Goes through one first, and then a choke, and then another one, and then to this chip, which I imagine does a buck conversion through that inductor to a low voltage 12. I'm guessing what's the coil? 5. Okay. Yeah, 5. So probably about 5 volts. And then this regulator is going to be a 5 to 3.3 because I see no regulator on that board. So then it sends its, is it marked? Sometimes they mark it, but it's not marked here. Alright, so these lower connectors, these are purely physical. They don't actually do anything. I'm surprised they, well, maybe it's cheaper, but it seems like a waste of money. So going through here, we have power, ground, and then relay control. There's no reason to pass the LED control through because there's no LED on the backboard. It's just to trigger the relay. There was a transistor right there. That is what actually drops the coil of the relay. That's the reverse pulse diode, the protection diode for the relay coil. So this is really kind of these light switches all grown up. I've been using these ever since they really have been on the market of different brands, and I've been trying to find the one I like the best. Now the last one I bought was pretty sweet. I'll put a link in to show you, but this one's built just a little bit better in my opinion. I like how modular it is and how I really like this switch. I mean, listen to that. That's a nice switch. I like that. So now, put it back together. Let's put it in here. And then fold that over. Let me make sure the tabs, yes, are all in the right spot. Get these in, and let me get my I'll do it by hand. I was going to get my drill or my screw gun. And then that top cover just snaps right on, and then the cool switch works. And tighten that ground down, get that out of the way, and then make sure the these screws in the back are nice and loose. Okay, like that. And I get my contraption. So, let me back you out a little bit. Alright, so this light in here, this is a normal, just standard LED inside bulb, but I pulled the globe off the top. this thing. And then just put some gaff tape over it and poked a few holes because it'll be too bright into the camera, but we want to see that it turns on. And then we have the wire, which I've already cut the hot side because that will need to go inside. And then we also need a neutral. So I was going to just run a wire out from underneath, but I figured just to make it easy, we'll just cut the wire all together and just have the neutral twisted and we can feed it in. We'll use the switch as a junction for the neutral. Okay, so here's our neutral. I'm just going to twist these for now. And then in it goes. Now these wires need to be pretty long. That will be okay, but just barely. You can see. Do they give you a strip gauge? No, they really don't. So keep that in mind. If you put one of these in, hold it along the side and make sure your wire goes up to the to far enough to the screw. Now the insulation should allow it to slide in, but if you have to do something like this, or if you have multiple, let me make sure I'm doing this right. Oh, no, it's backwards. So this is live. This is power from the wall. This always has to be on because the switch needs to be constantly powered for the Wi-Fi section. And then the load side is to your light or whatever else you're controlling. Fan, robot, you know, whatever. So now that's hooked up. You can see. No ground because, well, I don't need it right now. And can I use this just to hold it? Let's figure I could use the packaging as a faux case. Yeah, that'll work. So you can see it powered up. The little status light's flashing. Now with most smart life devices, when the light's flashing like that, that means it's ready to be connected. So I'm going to add a device, and now I think it's just switch. Yeah, okay. Confirm indicators rapidly blink. Indicator rapidly blink. And enter Wi-Fi password. Wi-Fi password is entered. And we should see that light go off, possibly hear the thing turn on and off, hear the relay click, but this should spin around and, oh, the light just went off. It went blue, has this nice blue to it, you can probably see there. Hey, alright, and it calls it smart switch, so now we should see this screen just zip around. There we go. So, smart switch. Done. So now let's see if smart switch works. Hey, look at that. My little idea for protecting you guys from the camera being swamped out seems to work pretty well. On, off. On, off. Okay, so when it's on, it has a red LED, and when it's off, it has, pardon me, it has this kind of soft blue LED, which is not obnoxious, unlike most blue LEDs. Long press to edit switch name. Okay, or I can just tap that. Tap the settings thing, and let's check for firmware upgrade. Wi-Fi and MCU are both version 1.0 right now, so that's good. And I think that's it for that one. So, simple to set up, simple to install. I really like how it has the contacts on the back. Now, if this were already screwed into the basement, Yeah. Then put the decor plate on like that. And then you can imagine that this is an old, ugly, paneled wall. Pretty great. So let's try it. Let's see if the Echo turns this on. So you can see leave my phone here so that you can see I'm not touching anything. Alexa, turn on smart switch. Alexa, turn off smart switch. There you go. So if you're in the market for a smart switch for your house, check these out. Again, it's one I just kind of stumbled upon, and I'm really glad I did. I may have to get some more of these. The price was right, and the install is pretty sweet. So, hey, if you want one, I'll leave a link, of course, below. You know where to get it. And if you have any questions, also leave them down in the comments area. And as always, thank you for watching.